Hopefully by now you have seen the first 30 minutes of our film, Fireproof. And as we usually begin this film every year, students comment on maybe some of the raw, we'll call it raw talent of some of the performers, but it's, we'll call it some actors in the process of learning. They filmed this as they did Courageous, if you might have seen that, on a pretty low budget, and they wanted to get this film out there. Kirk Cameron is the producer of this film, and the main object was to understand some of the problems, the obstacles to marriage, and making a marriage work. In the film, we will see Catherine and Caleb. They are a couple who have been married for probably several years, and they have some difficulties in their relationship. Caleb is a fireman who works many hours, and what you can do as someone who becomes involved in your career, you can become distanced, you can become involved in your career and forget about what really, really matters. And Catherine, who's also very, very successful in her career, is also kind of dealing with the same thing. So what happens? We've been talking about this thing called the ego, pride. We think that maybe what we're doing is more important than what the other person is doing. That becomes apparent in this movie right away. I think one of the things that you will see is, I think immediately, almost immediately, we see Caleb as someone who loses his temper, as someone who almost seems to be the bad guy, as the enemy in this relationship. And we feel bad for Catherine. The old expression is it takes two to tango, and both people have to make the relationship work. What's going to happen as the film progresses is we will see that, well, maybe both people are at fault in not maintaining the relationship. If you remember from yesterday's video, the most important component of every relationship will be communication. If we're not truly communicating on how I feel, what's going on in my life, how can I make things better, then we can certainly disintegrate very, very quickly. We also have been talking about the 4 elements of love, which are care, respect, responsibility, and knowledge. Care is what we do for others. Respect is how I look at our differences and even our ability to compromise. Do I understand what you feel? And can I make adjustments in my thoughts and my actions to fulfill that? Responsibility means, what is my obligation? If you remember one of the things from Viktor Frankl, he said you have, on one coast, you have the Statue of Liberty, and on the other, we should have another statue, and it should be really the statue of responsibility. That's very, very important. Not only am I free, but do I know what I should do with my freedom? So that's going to be important as well. And then finally, knowledge. Do I know the person? Do I truly know the person? Very often people are very, very comfortable in talking about themselves. If you've ever gone on a first date, maybe we want to talk about ourselves. Maybe we are very, very comfortable in explaining what's going on in our own lives. Do we want to know truly about the other person? Do we know the other person? Do I ask questions that kind of really unveil who the other person is? That's very, very important in the dating process. Do I get to the point where I am really, really involved in the other person's life? Do I know what their preferences are? Do I know what they really, really want? If I say, what do we want to do on a Friday or Saturday night? Should there be some possibilities that I immediately eliminate just because I know, well, this person that I care deeply about has no interest in these things. So care, respect, responsibility, and knowledge are going to be an important part of understanding the importance of love. When we tune in to the movie, we see that the couple is really kind of struggling to keep things afloat. Caleb does not seem like a good guy. He's constantly losing his temper, and we feel bad for Catherine. One of the things that we want to look at is what's really truly happening in the relationship. How can we learn from their relationship? How do we learn from their mistakes? And I think that's one of the things that we really want to learn from not only this movie, but with the marriage interview that hopefully will change us. We're hopefully picking people that we can learn from. Marriage is very, very difficult. Some people do not want to talk about their marriage. Marriage can kind of expose our certain flaws. Our spouse can expose our mistakes and the things that maybe we don't get right on a day-to-day basis. And some people are terrified by that. The object is to look at marriage as a lifelong journey and as something that we can hopefully grow as human beings, and we grow in love, and we grow in understanding how do I truly not only love this person that I'm married to, but how do I extend that love to everybody? So that we hope that you enjoy this movie. It is a certainly lower grade production, and when people first start to watch the movie, they are more concerned with maybe some of the acting. But it really is a movie that shows us the immediacy to move into action, the immediacy to kind of drop our own selfish will and to understand, how do I understand the needs and desires of this other person that I am going to be married to for the rest of my life. We hope that you enjoy this movie, and on this conference-free day, we hope that you kind of really use this opportunity to take advantage of thinking about your relationships and kind of getting set for the journey ahead. Have a great day.